Hello and welcome to another GCSE Computer Science video with me, Mr Goff, from MrGoff.com. This video will focus on the impacts of digital technology on wider society. For the purposes of this course, you need to be able to discuss the impacts of digital technology on wider society, including ethical issues, legal issues, cultural issues, environmental issues, and privacy issues. Let's take a look at some new technologies and their impacts in these areas. If we consider driverless vehicles, one of the ethical concerns is decisions about what to do if the car is definitely going to crash. Should it minimize the total number of lives taken? Should it do this even if it means breaking laws to do so? Should it try and protect the person in the car? Would you get in the car if you knew that it might not consider you in the event of a crash? Some legal considerations might be determining who is actually responsible in the event of a crash where an autonomous vehicle is responsible. Cultural issues might be things like, will we continue to use cars as we do, or will we use cars on demand rather than having our own? What will happen to those people that drive for a living, like truck drivers and taxi drivers? Driverless cars also have many positive benefits for the environment. Most of them are based on electric cars, and they can be driven in a very economical way. In addition, they're likely to have fewer crashes, and this means there'll be less need for extra parts in the future. In terms of privacy, you might want to know what happens with the data of journeys that have been taken in a driverless car. If we look at AI and machine learning, in terms of ethical considerations, we could think about when is it and when isn't it appropriate to use AI. We could consider whether it's biased and whether it's having an effect on bias in society. In terms of legal considerations, what data is it trained on? Has it been fairly obtained? Or are there possibly copyright concerns? Is it discriminatory? And who's to blame if it turns out that an AI system is discriminatory? Cultural considerations might consider things like, do we need to consider a living wage for all people because there might not be enough jobs to go around if AI takes over as many jobs as it's purported to be able to? Environmental concerns come up with AI, the main one being that the computing power needed for AI is ever increasing, and this takes vast amounts of power which we can't currently sustain through renewable methods. In terms of privacy, we come back to that question. Should it be able to train on copyright data? What should it be able to use? What shouldn't it be able to use? What information should it be able to retain about the questions you ask it? There are many concerns around AI and machine learning. If we look at computer-based implants, ethical considerations might be, again, when is it and when isn't it appropriate to use? Very few people would question the use of these technologies to help people who are missing limbs or who have lost connection with their brain to different parts of their body to try and improve. But how would people feel if it was people wanting to augment their body so that it could be better than it currently is? How should testing for these implants be managed? What's allowed legally and what's not allowed legally? Culturally, could this lead to an imbalance between those who can afford augmentation and those who can't? Environmentally, any devices will need to be constructed from the finite materials that Earth has, so will this just place an even bigger burden on the massive amounts of e-waste that we generate annually? In terms of privacy, what if someone could access the data of an implant? This could have severe implications for the user. This has just been a sample of the types of technology you might consider. You'll need to consider these particular factors in relation to a bunch of other technology to be properly prepared for the exams. That brings us to the end of this video on the impacts of digital technology on wider society. Join me in the next video when I'll be looking at the principles of computational thinking. Use the resources at MrGoff.com to help you revise computer science, and until next time, it's bye for now.